The South China Sea is not just a body of water, it is a history book. Its waves whisper tales of ancient empires. For centuries, Chinese ships traversed these waters. They sailed on voyages of trade and exploration. These journeys established a Chinese presence in the region. It uses it to justify its expansive claims in the South China Sea today. Other nations have their own narratives. These stories add layers of complexity to the South China Sea dispute. China's neighbors view its historical claims with skepticism. They emphasize the fluidity of power throughout history. The South China Sea's past is a tapestry of interwoven narratives. The South China Sea is not just China's backyard. It is surrounded by nations with their own maritime ambitions. Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all lay claim to parts of the sea. Each country has its own set of historical justifications. These claims often overlap, creating a complex web of competing interests. This tangle of claims creates a volatile environment. Finding a peaceful resolution is incredibly challenging. The end of World War II brought new dynamics to the South China Sea. The decline of European colonialism created a power vacuum. Newly independent nations, eager to assert their sovereignty, looked to their maritime frontiers. The South China Sea, rich in resources and strategic importance, became a focal point of these aspirations. The Cold War further complicated the situation. The United States, as a Pacific power, took an interest in the region. It sought to contain the spread of communism. The Soviet Union, in turn, supported its allies in Southeast Asia. The South China Sea became a stage for proxy conflicts and geopolitical maneuvering. The collapse of the Soviet Union did not ease tensions. China, undergoing rapid economic growth and military modernization, emerged as a dominant power in the region. Its assertive foreign policy, particularly its expansive claims in the South China Sea, has raised alarm bells among its neighbors and the international community. The South China Sea is a strategic waterway. It holds vast reserves of oil, gas, and marine life. These resources drive both opportunity and tension. Overfishing and disputes threaten livelihoods. The race for resources fuels conflict. Section 5. A gathering storm, militarization and mistrust. The South China Sea is increasingly militarized. Countries are flexing their military muscles. China, in particular, has been rapidly building up its naval and air capabilities. It has deployed warships, submarines, and fighter jets to the region. It has also constructed artificial islands in the Spratly archipelago. These islands are equipped with airstrips, harbors, and radar systems. This military buildup has heightened tensions. It has fueled an arms race in the region. Countries are investing heavily in their own defense capabilities. They are seeking alliances with external powers. The United States, while not a claimant, has a significant military presence in the Western Pacific. It conducts freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea. These operations are meant to challenge China's expansive claims. This cycle of militarization and mistrust creates a dangerous feedback loop. Each action is met with a reaction, escalating tensions. Diplomacy and dialogue become more difficult. The risk of miscalculation and unintended conflict increases. Section 6. Islands of contention, flashpoints in the sea. The Spratly and Paracel Islands are at the heart of the South China Sea dispute. These groups of islands, reefs, and shoals are claimed in whole or in part by multiple countries. Their strategic location and potential resources make them highly sought after. The Spratly Islands, scattered over a wide area, are a particular flashpoint. China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Taiwan all have overlapping claims. China's construction of artificial islands in the Spratlys has further inflamed tensions. These islands have been transformed into military outposts. This has raised concerns about China's intentions to control the surrounding waters. The Paracel Islands, located further north, are another point of contention. China seized control of the Paracels from Vietnam in 1974. It has since occupied and developed the islands. Vietnam continues to claim sovereignty over the Paracels. This dispute has led to periodic naval clashes and diplomatic standoffs. Section 7. Building disputes, concrete claims on shifting sands. China's island-building activities in the South China Sea have drawn international condemnation. China has reclaimed land and constructed artificial islands on a massive scale. It has dredged sand and coral from the seabed. It has then used this material to create new landmass. These artificial islands are not just environmental disasters, they are changing the geopolitical landscape of the South China Sea. China argues that these islands give it the right to claim territorial waters and exclusive economic zones around them. This directly challenges the claims of other countries. The international community has criticized China's island building. It argues that these activities violate international law. It says they are escalating tensions in the region. Despite these criticisms, China has shown no signs of slowing down its construction. This has further fueled mistrust and raised the stakes in the South China Sea. Section 8, the Law of the Sea, Navigating Troubled Waters. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, governs maritime claims. It defines territorial waters and exclusive economic zones. China, a signatory, interprets UNCLOS to favor its claims. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled against China. China rejected the ruling and continues its claims. This casts doubt on international law's effectiveness. Section 9. Brinkmanship and dialogue, the delicate balance. The South China Sea is characterized by a delicate balance between brinkmanship and dialogue. Countries engage in assertive actions to advance their claims. They also participate in diplomatic efforts to manage tensions. This creates a complex and often contradictory dynamic. On one hand, there are frequent naval patrols, military exercises, and diplomatic protests. These actions are designed to demonstrate resolve and deter rivals. On the other hand, there are regional forums, bilateral talks, and confidence-building measures. These aim to foster communication and prevent misunderstandings. This dual-track approach reflects the high stakes involved. Countries are unwilling to back down from their claims. They also recognize the need to prevent conflict. This delicate dance requires careful diplomacy and a willingness to compromise. Section 10. Charting a peaceful course, international law as a rudder. Finding a lasting solution to the South China Sea dispute is a daunting task. However, there are avenues for peaceful resolution. International law, particularly UNCLOS, provides a framework for managing maritime claims. A rules-based order where all countries respect international law is essential. This requires China to abide by the 2016 tribunal ruling. It also requires other claimant states to refrain from unilateral actions. Regional cooperation is crucial. ASEAN has a vital role to play. It can facilitate dialogue, build confidence, and promote joint development. External powers, such as the United States, can support these efforts. They can provide diplomatic and security assistance. Section 11. The South China Sea's uncertain future. A call for cooperation. The South China Sea stands at a crossroads. It could become a flashpoint for conflict, or it could be a catalyst for cooperation. The choices made by the countries involved will determine its fate. The path to peace is narrow and fraught with challenges. It requires a commitment to dialogue, a respect for international law, and a willingness to compromise. The alternative is a future of heightened tensions, military escalation, and potential conflict. The South China Sea is a shared resource. It should be a source of prosperity and stability for all. It is in the best interests of all parties to find a peaceful and sustainable solution. The future of the region, and indeed the world, may depend on it.